Hi everyone, I'm Abiodun Agbola. I head Derivatives Market Group here at FMDQ Securities Exchange Limited. Welcome to Q Dialogue. I'm a financial market enthusiast, and Q Dialogue offers me a unique opportunity to have conversations with colleagues and experts in the financial markets regarding an area of finance that is particularly dear to my heart, financial derivatives. Together, you and I hope that we'll deepen our understanding through these conversations and increase our appreciation for exchange traded derivatives markets, especially in Africa. Today, though, the subject of conversation would be FMDQ exchange traded derivatives market in particular as a tool to galvanize innovative and viable development in Nigerian financial market as a whole. And I have here an able guest who is very qualified to speak about this topic in person of the Managing Director of FMDQ Securities Exchange Limited, Ms. Tumi Shekoni. Hi, Tumi. Welcome to FMDQ Q Dialogue.
Hi, Abiodun. How are you? Thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
And thank you for that intro.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Mishekoni has over 20 years experience in the financial market generally, which covers trading, business analysis, business development, product development, market development in various institutions, which include Goldman Sachs, Merrill Lynch, Guaranty Trust Bank, UBS. With us at FMDQ, beyond our role as the Managing Director of FMDQ Securities Exchange, she also sits on the board of a number of subsidiaries of FMDQ Group PLC. So once again, to me, you are welcome to FMDQ Q Dialogue.
Thank you, Abiodun.
I would probably start from, when I resumed FMDQ as, an employee. I resumed, joined the Derivatives Market Group. And I remember that one of the first documents I was given was Derivatives Market Feasibility Study. So, of course, I had questions. And I think I'll just post them to you right now, so you're sitting there. So why did we, launch that study to, study derivatives markets in Nigeria? Why was there that drive to commission that feasibility study? Just some historical context.
Okay. So thank you. So let me start from maybe somewhat the beginning, when FMDQ was established. I think we were FMDQ OTC PLC at the time. And that was in like 2013. So probably around, so maybe around 2014, because we started 2013 November. So around 2014, because FMDQ was established to sort of try to develop, if you will, the market in general, we thought we need to even start from somewhere. Let us do a comprehensive study of our financial markets, and we already had products that were in the market, and just see essentially where we're starting from, what we had to deal with. And in that regard, I mean, we looked at obviously the fixed income and currencies market, and we also saw that there was some sort of derivatives trading, but we knew that a lot more had to be done in that. So we thought derivatives, it's a core product that's missing in our markets, and we needed to do something about that. Now we're going into a new market, obviously very sophisticated market. The whole idea of FMDQ is to be globally competitive. We try to do everything in line with global standards, so that at least we can, hold our chest and say, we can sort of, as much as we can, of course, being Nigeria, we can work with or walk alongside, if you will, the bigger players in the global market as a whole. So we decided you have to start from a feasibility study to understand what we have, what is missing, what we need to do to ensure that we are on the right path. So we launched the feasibility study, I think sometime in 2014. Again, it's been a long time, as you can imagine. And so what we decided to do was, with that international, global market standard sort of foundation, or mindset, let me use, we decided to ensure that it was an RFP. There was an RFP developed. That's a request for proposals. Yes, and we thought, don't let us limit it to just the local markets. Let us expand it and go international. And we did that, and we had the RFP process. We even published the RFP in like international newspapers. Oh,
really? Like The Economist?
Yes.
Oh, I just threw that out there. Wow.
I mean, that tells us now you're an FMDQ breed, indeed. So we did that, and then obviously we had quite a number of responses. I think about 11. I mean, we had the likes of KPMG, we had Ernst & Young, we had NASDAQ.
NASDAQ?
Absolutely.
The NASDAQ, or a Nigerian version of Okay, the NASDAQ.
The NASDAQ, yes.
All right.
So, I mean, we had, obviously, we had a mix. And went through this sort of very rigorous process, you know, in terms of trying to whittle down or choose a consultant to work with. And part of what we did in terms of the assessment committee, you know, the evaluation committee for that, we made sure we also had market participants. You know, it wasn't just FMDQ doing this. Again, this is something we're bringing for the market, for everyone, you know, so we had to make sure we're covering all the bases.
Buying and...
Absolutely. So we had market participants even be part of that evaluation committee for us. So, yeah, and we went through that process. Maybe we started in about May, probably went on for a few months. And ultimately, the institution, if you will, that won that mandate was an institution called Salonika Group.
Okay.
And what drew us particularly to them...
I was going to ask.
What drew us particularly to them was the international and Nigerian flavor they had. So what they did was they partnered with the Nigerian firm as well, and I think they obviously thought, yes, whilst they bring the international flavor to it, we cannot just, you know, we have to consider the intricacies of our markets, you know, so they had that. And I mean, obviously we had quite a lot of, you know, of the guys do quite well. We obviously narrowed down to about 3 and thereabouts, but they came out tops for us because we needed that international and sort of local flavor.
Exciting. With the way you have described the RFP process, the selection process, publishing on the economics, for example, getting responses from NASDAQ, for me, it screams commitment, to be honest. And the question I now have is, not knowing what will come out of the RFP or if we would be able to pull this off, given that FMDQ at best was maybe, 3 years old or 2 years old at the time, why were we so committed to taking on this Herculean task, you know? This is curiosity now speaking.
Yeah, I think we started the process in 2016 probably.
Okay.
I might have mixed my dates up, so you'll have to forgive me. Yeah. So the thing about I'll ask you a question, you know, in response to that.
I have to be careful what I ask managing directors.
I'll probably answer it myself too, but it was a case of why not.
Okay.
So FMDQ was established for a reason, right? And it was to bring change to the market, you know, ensure the market develops. And this is not just going to be for us, it's going to be for the generations that come after us. You know, we want to see Nigeria, maybe we'll start with Lagos, obviously, you know, be one of the, let me say, financial market centers at some point.
Like
now we have to exactly, and we have to start from somewhere. I mean, we're the giant of Africa, right, aren't we? So let us put this thing. So for us, it was a case of go all in or go home, pretty much, you know. And we thought what is worth doing is worth doing well. So we decided to put our all in it. And the truth, that's what FMDQ does anyway in anything it does. So derivatives was not going to be any different, and again, because of the importance of derivatives in the markets, you know, we couldn't do anything less.
Thank you very much for that response. So what I hear you say is that it's a question of purpose. It's either we are here or we are not, and that makes a lot of sense to me. The next question I have for you is slightly related, and it's about the output of the feasibility study. I've read it. I mean, but I came on board 2019, so a lot has happened then. But at the time when the feasibility came out, what were the results? Did we consider it appalling? Maybe why is it so bad? There's no opportunity, or we considered it challenging? I have an opinion around that because I've read it, but from an MD's point of view. So what did you think about the output of the feasibility study, and how useful was it in any case?
So let's see. Was it appalling? No.
Okay.
Not appalling. I mean, I think it was not something that we didn't necessarily expect. But maybe the level, you know, would have been different in terms of the depth of what we needed to do. It wasn't something that we didn't expect. Was it daunting? Not, I wouldn't necessarily say.
It was for me.
okay, fine. Okay, so
but we're on a different level.
Okay, let me just say we knew that we had a lot of work to do. You know, daunting, if you use daunting, then use it in the positive way. Yeah. You know, yeah, but it's not, so not daunting bad, daunting good, if you can say that. And we knew that, okay, my goodness, we have a lot to do. I mean, some of the areas, the key areas that were brought up were around education.
Okay.
Of course, we knew that it was important that the market was educated about this, and it is the entire value chain. You know, it's not just financial market participants necessarily. You need to bring in regulators. You know, so we had to do that. And I mean, you speak to commitments, you know, investment and things like that. The good thing is this is FMDQ's mandate, so it's part of our guiding principles as dictated to us by the board anyway. So we almost have to do
the
it.
full backing of the entire entity.
Absolutely. So there was the education part. There was a lot that we needed to learn and understand about this risk management product, to be honest. Risk management. You know, we knew that we needed a mechanism, an infrastructure in place to be able to handle that risk management, because that's essentially what derivatives is about, right? There was also the legal framework. Okay. Now that in itself, I would say probably that's daunting, because when it's legal, I mean, there's so many stakeholders, you know, so you have to get pretty much everyone on side. And in the legal framework at the time, we didn't have a legal framework that would have been able to support the derivatives market.
Okay.
But I mean, 3 years down the line, you know, whatever, we now have that with the CAMA 2020 as well, that enabled, you know, netting, you know, and pretty much if I'll use segregation, because I'm aware that it's not just financial markets savvy individuals that are going to be listening to this or watching this, you know, and also the if you will, segregation, let me use that, of financial transactions,
protecting them,
exactly. So we didn't have that, so that is now, you know, legal framework. Then there was also the, let me see, I've mentioned about 3 now.
Education, risk management, legal framework. Was there anything
regulatory?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a regulatory part of things. At the time, again, we didn't necessarily have a regulatory framework for derivatives to be traded in our markets. So maybe rules and sort of things around that. But now, as we speak, we have that, because we have the Securities and Exchange Commission who brought out their rules. FMDQ, you know, have also brought out their rules. So so the market is working together to ensure there's that conducive environment as much as possible to make sure this pretty much works. And then the final one was technology and infrastructure. So we again had to make sure we had the right technology, you know, to ensure that these transactions pretty much, I mean, these are probably the foundation, you know, the building blocks, if you will. You needed to get those rights to be able to even sort of start that. I mean, there were definitely others, but I think these were the key ones that sort of jumped out to us, because there's also the part of ensuring your cash markets even work to start with, but that's on a separate plane. So yeah, so the technology part, and again, that's part of what we, FMDQ, obviously as an institution, is working on, to ensure that we have the right technology to be able to support the derivatives market.
Thank you very much for that insight. I mean, this may seem like taking you back a bit, but again, out of curiosity, I got in here, I was given this particular feasibility study just before we move on from it, and I saw the date on it was 2016. And I know, because of my role in derivatives market, that the Naira settled OTC Futures contract also started in 2016. So I've never been opportune to ask. It's not like I can't come and ask, but I'd rather ask when the audience can benefit from your responses. Is there any link between the OTC Futures market and the feasibility study? Was it while we were doing it, so, oh, there's an opportunity? Or, I mean, just some context around what happened in 2015, 2016.
So interestingly, there wasn't any direct link.
Okay.
So FMDQ was doing what it was doing, sort of preparing. And come 2016, there was the FX market crisis. So if anything, it was pretty much an opportunity.
That met preparation.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So that was exactly what it was. And it so happened that, yes, you spoke about the OTC FX, the Naira settled OTC FX futures. Whilst it's, because some people will say, but it's OTC, we're looking at exchange traded derivatives, you know, what is the connection? The thing is, we were able to use a lot of, or some of the learnings from, you know, the feasibility study and what we had been doing, trying to prepare ourselves to help support, what can be done, to help us in that FX market. If anything, I think that proved the importance of hedging products, the importance of having these risk management products in our market because of what we saw. And so yeah, it was not a link beforehand, but then they ended up being some sort of link in the sense that we used part of our learnings, some of the risk management structures that we put around it to ensure no default and things like that. We applied some of the ETD, exchange traded derivatives, ETD concept into that to ensure that it was successful. And
I appreciate this your response a great deal because, and I'll just say it for the sake of the audience, because when I joined FMDQ, coming from my CFA background where it is forwards or futures, and then I got in there, they told me Naira settled OTC. OTC is forwards market, futures contract. It was very, very confusing. So I was asking people a lot of questions. Why are we saying OTC futures? And I think the answer is that we essentially created a product with CBN and we supported it with risk management features of what a typical futures contract will look like. For me, I thought that was quite novel. When I finally understood it, I appreciated it. Before, and I'm like, what confusion is this? So you were going to
and to add to that is one of, and I had alluded to it earlier, you have to look at the intricacies of your market to provide solutions. You can't just sort of copy and paste. You look, research, understand and learn and see how you can apply that into your own circumstances just to make sure it works. So that was exactly what we did.
I would say that's the case, because some of the FPIs, that's foreign portfolio investors that have been opportunity to speak with, one of the reasons they come is because of that risk management bit that boosted the credibility of that market. So yeah, I agree absolutely with you. So I think we go back to exchange derivatives market for a bit now and stay there. So the feasibility study came out 2016, but the market itself, the project to support the market, which I would have to be a part of, was launched in 2018. So there is a 2-year gap. So the question is, what happened? Was it so challenging that I say let's just drink water on this feasibility study? So just some context around those 2 years.
So we try to ensure that what we do, we do it well as much as possible. So whilst the feasibility study showed us that we had a lot of gaps in the market that we needed to sort of close, we also had to make sure that FMDQ as an entity trying to bring this product or this project into the market was adequately prepared. So yeah, 2 years might seem like a long time, but there was a lot we needed to do to make sure we knew what we were doing. So I know we had things like we did research, study tours, went to different markets that we thought, we classed them as model markets to see how can we let us understand fully what goes on to ensure that the solution that we're bringing or we're driving, let me put it that way, we're actually able to support that. So there was a lot going on within those 2 years. But at the same time, I had also said we had done a financial markets sort of assessment. So there were even other parts of the market that we were also trying to ensure was getting up to up to
global standard,
at least some level of development. You wouldn't get there overnight, right?
I agree.
But at least we have to make sure we're preparing. So I had spoken about cash markets earlier. Again, for your derivatives markets to thrive, the cash markets, your spot markets would also have to be at some certain level. So we have other initiatives that we're working on, or we still have, we're still working on these, that looking at those markets. So it was at the same time we're doing all of this. And I think it probably took that long for us to know that, okay, it's now time for us to commence this project that's going to take a while, by the way.
I know. Well, I'll leave it there.
Yeah. to commence this project, let's make sure we were also adequately prepared, whilst also not, forgetting the other areas that we have to make sure we're sort of moving in tandem.
Oh, I see. Thank you very much. And I think I appreciate the context you have given now, because it was shortly after then that I was also hired to join the team. So
Absolutely.
I guess also developing a team was part of it, developing products. Okay, thank you. So at what point did regulators become involved with what we were building, the market? Was it at feasibility stage, or now that, because I'm aware we're engaging them for product approval, so at what point did they become involved, and which regulators were involved in particular?
I'll just say from the jump, as in from the very beginning. Again, with FMDQ, why FMDQ was established is for the markets, is for the general markets. So there's nothing that we do as FMDQ on our own, because it's not going to succeed. So we had to carry the regulators along from the very beginning, so that they had an idea of what was going on, what we were intending to do in the markets, explaining concepts, or maybe trying to alleviate any concerns or fears they may have, because you hear of derivatives and everyone thinks it's wow.
There's one particular one you hear, weapon of financial mass destruction.
Exactly. I didn't. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say that, but yes, that's exactly. So we had to, and the truth is, you need to have everyone in the markets on side. You need to have your regulators on side, because without the regulators, you can't actually even move anywhere. And so we had the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. There was the central bank. We engaged the National Pension Commission and the Debt Management Office, DMO. And we're still engaging these regulators. And I must say that we wouldn't have gotten to where we have gotten now without the support of the regulators. They were obviously very willing, to listen, to learn, to understand. And again, it's something that we're sort of doing together. Because I spoke to you about the SEC having their rules and all of that. So we would contribute where we can, things like that. So the regulators have been, involved from the beginning. I spoke about education. We've done sessions for all the different regulators, with the markets individually, separately, and all of that. So yes, they have been with us, and again, a huge thank you to all the regulators, particularly our Apex regulator, which is the Securities and Exchange Commission. We spoke about the central bank much earlier when the OTC FX Futures came along. Again, phenomenal support, and can't really say more than that, because without that we're not moving anywhere, to be honest.
Yeah. Thank you very much for reiterating some of the things I know. I mean, FMDQ has a long history of impactful collaborations, and
to add to that, whilst we did all that with the regulators and all that, we, again, like I said, it's not something that we can do on our own. FMDQ and the regulators alone cannot deliver the market. The market participants ultimately are the ones who will deliver that market, because if we do not have any players in the market, no one to trade, no one to even want the products, people, if they don't understand it as well, if they're not engaged, it's pretty much a losing battle from the start. So again, we had market participants, we've had many different sessions with them. I think we've probably even trained, if you will, through our academy, FMDQ Academy, over 2,000, participants.
Are these paid or are they free?
For now, it's free.
Okay.
And again, that's why
I like the caveat for now.
Well, we've been saying for now for years, to be honest. But we've been doing it anyways, because we understand that this is an investment. It's not something that it's not a it's an investment, and we've been doing this for a while. You're talking about 2016, 2018. We're in what now? 2023.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not been easy, and I guess maybe if we had seen the future after the feasibility study, then maybe the daunting would have been negative daunting. But it's the good thing is we have good support, people supporting us properly. Even the guys in FMDQ who are doing this, FMDQ as a whole, and even the people.
Well done, guys.
We cannot. Without their commitments, the belief in what it is we're doing, we can't even move that needle. So big thank you to everyone, to be honest.
I mean, thank you for your time. I know you probably have to catch another meeting, but just one last question before you leave. If there is one thing you will consider very important for the exchange traded derivatives market to work as intended, what would that be?
Thank you. So there are quite a number of things, and in the course of our conversation, I may have alluded to some of these things, but I think something that was very, very key, and it was one of the things that was missing, when we did that feasibility study, was having a CCP, that's a central counterparty. I mean, if you look at markets globally that are thriving in this space, has a central counterparty. And what essentially is a central counterparty? Is that infrastructure, that institution that essentially does the risk management. I mean, I don't want to go too technical, to be honest.
No, that's fine.
But but there is a lot around derivatives to ensure that they are safe. And because derivatives are needed, you know, with the way the markets are, you know, up and down, everything, you need to bring these products to the market, but also try to ensure that you're protecting those who are participating in the product. So a central counterparty essentially acts as the risk management in the middle of everything, you know, and as the name even suggests, a central counterparty, you have one counterparty that is essentially trading with all the participants, those who are actually trading in the market. So they offer that risk management, you know, do the daily marginings and things like that, just to ensure, you know, day-to-day monitoring of things, just to ensure that you are, at the end of the day, you know, that product you've decided to go into does not blow up in your face.
Safe. Okay.
Essentially.
Thank you very much.
And so FMDQ, like I said, putting all these things in place. So we look at the entire value chain. So we don't just do one part and think, okay, someone else pick the other part. We look at the entire value chain. So in terms of a central counterparty, FMDQ has one now, which is the FMDQ Clear Limited. So just thought I'll put that in there.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time, Ms. Shekoni.
Thank you for having me here, Biodun.
Sure. Thank you very much for listening. I guess we'll be delving, you know, deeper into the concept of risk management as central counterparty in our subsequent episodes. Thank you for listening.